Welcome to Cards in a Hat with a Tin Cap. He's Padres prospect Robert Hassell III. I'm John Nolan. Thanks so much for joining us. This is brought to you by Midwest Box Breaks. And Bobby, before we dive in here, do have a question for you. Obviously, these days, a lot of people are asking you for your autograph, sometimes to sign a card. You're 20, so you're not too far removed from the days when you were a kid. And I was curious, did you ever open up a pack of baseball cards or ever ask a pro for an autograph?
Yeah. I didn't ask for autographs as much as I did break open cards, but I used to break open cards all the time. My dad collected a lot when he was little of all sports, and me mainly just baseball. So I like to see all the players, keep up with their stats, flip over the cards, memorize their home runs, RBIs, average, all that. I loved that as a kid.
That's awesome. So here's what we're going to do. We've got cards courtesy of Midwest Box Breaks at random here in this hat. It's a collection of some Hall of Famers, some current All-Stars, and some up-and-coming prospects like Robert here himself. So Robert, just going to ask you to pick out a card and then maybe share your reaction and if you have a connection or a story to a player. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, lead it off.
No way.
Right off the bat.
Robert Hassell. Let's go.
So what's it like seeing yourself, on a baseball card?
It's crazy. That's why I like seeing, I tell people all the time, the fans that have autographs for me to sign, man, I say, what a cool card. I see so many of them now. It's definitely cool to see my face on one.
Well, what a way for us to start. We're going to shuffle this up a little bit more.
Pete Crow Armstrong. Let's go.
All right, so there's a Chicago Cubs prospect and a guy who I know you were teammates with, USA Baseball,
Yep.
Played in the U18 World Cup. And
we're both lefty outfielders at an early age in high school. We were both committed to Vanderbilt, both, kind of early picks in the 2020 draft. So we click, and we played USA together. Great ball player, elite defense, elite bat. So, see him on a card, too, is pretty cool.
yeah, and he's currently in the Midwest League as well with the South Bend Cubs, scheduled to be here in August. So looking forward to that. How about with the video I saw Baseball America put out recently? It was you on the mound as a pitcher striking him out. Maybe people don't realize that growing up, you were not only an outstanding hitter, but a pitcher who could throw in the 90s too.
Mm-hmm.
What memories do you have of your days on the hill?
Yeah, I did face him at a perfect game event, and the umpire gave me a good bit off the plate, I will say. But facing him and those guys, I competed a little bit on the mound. It was fun. Who do we got? Chipper Jones, one of my favorite players of all time. Actually, I got to meet him when I was in Florida at IMG doing a PDP event, and he came down for a day, and just to see him was enough. But hearing what he had to say about swinging easy and not 100% and stuff like that, it was really impressive. And growing up, we got a lot of Braves games growing up, so I watched them. Went down when we'd go down to the beach, we'd stop, watch a Braves game because of him. So this is if I would have had this 10 years ago, I would have, definitely a little kid moment. Super
And just to follow up on that bit of advice that you said he passed along to you in terms of not always swinging 100%.
Right.
These days, a lot of guys, it seems like, are always swinging 100% for a home run. But clearly, with you leading the Midwest League in batting, we see you with a compact swing often going the opposite way. Is that something that stays in your mind?
Oh, yeah. And I will catch myself, like every other hitter, I'm sure, catch myself swinging 100%. And when I do, it's just you have so little room for error. So when I got that information when I was 18, I still use it today, from Chipper, and I use it, and it helps me, especially with your deep in counts, 2 strikes, stuff like that. You need to battle, tough pitcher on the mound, all different types of circumstances. It's gonna be able to help you. So Bryce Harper, another one. Actually, I have a lot of favorite players just because I love baseball. Bryce Harper is another one of my favorites. When he was seeing what he did when he was 19 in the bigs, I mean, I'm pretty sure when he was 19, if I can remember right, he stole home one game. We know what he did with the bat. He was speed, all that, outfield, big arm. Definitely somebody I wanted to model my game after for sure.
Yeah, you say model your game after him in part. I've seen some fans, when they see highlights of you, they say, hey, that swing looks kind of like Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
What do you think about that comparison?
Hey, I'll take that. I want to be, everybody wants to be themselves in a way, but being compared to like a swing, being compared to somebody like Bryce is cool, man. But he's got a super impressive, upper 1% bat, for sure.
Feels like the competitive drive that you have is similar to him as well.
Yeah, he's super fiery, and seeing that when I was younger and seeing him be able to be a young guy amongst a lot of older guys in the big leagues and still have that fire with him and not be shy, not be timid, all that, just go be what he's been his whole life was something that I wanted to do when I get to that stage for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks again to our friends with Midwest Box Breaks. We've got some good cards in here, rolling about halfway through. Let's keep it going.
There he is, Manny Machado. There he is. Yeah,
another MVP Sports Group client.
He's another one. Yeah, we have some for sure, but him and Toddy on the pods. But yeah, Manny, he's on pace to be what? I mean, one of the greats for sure, and he is currently. Elite defense, and that's what I've started to pride myself. I see these guys hold themselves, in the big leagues that have always been talented hitters. I've seen them, not just limit themselves to what they can do in the box. Manny's got a heck of an arm, so I see him in spring training and stuff take pride in his defense and just his all-around game, making sure everything's fine-tuned. So.
Starting third baseman in the All-Star game, representing the Padres. And what's it like being in an organization that has superstars like Tatis and Machado?
Yeah, I mean, and with Tatis being out, I mean, haven't been able to keep up with him and see how he's doing, but I have no doubt in my mind that he would perform how he's been performing every year. They're special guys, and I was looking at the back, see how many games Machado played in 2021, 153. So I mean, to be a guy that's a franchise guy, he's I would say he's definitely exceeding expectations. I mean, he's out there every game. You see him wanting to get back on the field even after he got a little banged up after that play at first base where it looked kind of nasty, honestly, and he's wanting to be on the field. So you got to love his heart.
Robert's a humble guy, so he's not going to bring these things up. But as we record this, he's one of only 2 position players in the league who hasn't committed an error yet while manning center field. And then you were on the short list of guys who had played in each of the first 40 games of the season, just like you were pointing out there with Manny. These days, with understandably load management, rest, and trying to navigate through a long season, guys do take more days off than they did in the past. But I know your manager here, Bryce Esposito, he has described you as an everyday guy. You want to be in the lineup every single day.
I do, yeah. I feel like one day isn't going to define you, good or bad, and it's not. In this game, you get to play every day. That's the beauty of it. If I see a teammate who's down or something, who's had a bad game, I've said it to guys before, it's like the beauty of it is you get to play tomorrow. So, and sometimes I'm up and down as a player. I feel like that happens. I feel like I can learn from those moments where I'm struggling a bit for sure. But being consistent is the goal, being an everyday guy.
So far, so good. So keep it up.
Yeah.
We got one more card left in the hat.
Derek Jeter. There we go. He's I met him. I got to meet him in person. I'm proud to say I got to meet him in person. He came for a day at IMG, the same place where I met Chipper Jones and Lance Berkman, Andy Pettit, a lot of those guys. But Jeter was there. He came down for a day. But I got to talk to him. Special character, special individual, great guy. Took the time to talk to everybody, take pictures with everybody. Definitely somebody. Like if you're not as familiar with baseball, you're probably gonna know who Derek Jeter is just because of the guy he was, and New York, and they were winning, and that's what people like is champions. People that want to win. So.
Absolutely, and Robert's helped lead the Tin Caps to some really exciting wins at Parkview Field here this season. By the way, thanks again to our friends with Midwest Box Breaks for hooking us up with an awesome collection of cards. But before we wrap this up, here we are sitting atop the summit at Parkview Field, the beautiful view from up here. What's it been like calling this your home ballpark?
Yeah, it's been probably the best ballpark I've ever played at, to be honest with you. I've played in some big league fields too. I've played 7 or 8 big league fields, and I can't tell a difference. The atmosphere, all the people that come and support, man. It gets loud. The fans love baseball, you can tell. So it's been great. It's been great.
And the fans have loved getting to see you play. I know they've appreciated the autographs that you've signed, including of baseball cards. So thanks so much, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, this was Cards in a Hat with a Tin Cap featuring Padres center field prospect Robert Hassell III, brought to you by Midwest Box Breaks.